Hello and welcome to the Unique CPA with your host, Randy Crabtree. We're committed to creating a thriving community of accounting professionals who are physically and mentally healthy, fulfilled, and energized by their work. Our ultimate goal is to elevate the reputation of the accounting profession and vastly improve the lives of those in it. The Unique CPA is brought to you by Trimerit, the specialty tax professionals.
Today, our guest is Greg Adams. As a side note, I'm very excited about this discussion today, but Greg is a Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Officer of the American Management Association. But the reason I'm excited about this discussion today, and more importantly, Greg is a huge advocate for the profession and recently released a book called Green Shades, Accountants Aren't Supposed to Die This Way. I have my copy of it. Greg, welcome to the Unique CPA.
Thanks, Randy. It's great to be with you, and I look forward to our discussion.
Yeah, I do too. I've actually been telling some people about the book, and they're like, oh, I got to get that. And then I pull up the website, and they said, that sounds cool. I got to get that. But all right, before we get into that, why don't you give us a little background of who you are and what you're doing, and then we'll start discussing the profession and the book.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm currently, as you said, I'm Chief Financial Officer of the American Management Association. It's a not-for-profit educational institution, particularly SoftSkills, which many of those skills that accountants may or may not lack or definitely need. But prior to being CFO of the AMA, and I've been here a little over 5 years, I did the traditional accounting route. I spent 11 years at KPMG. I was an accounting major, a CPA, passed the CPA exam. And then after KPMG, I've been the CFO of 3 public companies and a private company. And it's been quite a journey. And now moving into a not-for-profit with a very good mission, an educational mission, to actually try to change behavior and help individuals at work. And often the skills you learn are at home, in particular listening skills, which so many folks need to work on. But I only say that because even myself, I'm still taking courses. I took a critical thinking course a couple weeks ago, and one major skill is listen and before you react to something. So it's been a fun journey as a CFO, and what got me to write this book is I've had all these almost 30 years plus of experience of being a CFO and, more importantly, being an accountant. And I was getting frustrated to a degree of someone would ask you, what do you do? Everyone always asks you when you're at parties, what do you do? What do you do? I said, I'm an accountant. And I always found myself having to pause and use the but. I'm an accountant, but I really do a lot of cool things.
Yeah.
Like when I was at KPMG, I was 3 years in Australia. How many people get to work in Australia for 3 years?
Nice.
I saw so many different industries, from banking at Citibank to PepsiCo to a gold mine in the middle of the bush. So that really drove me to write this novel, Green Shades, to have a protagonist, a hero, that's an accountant, that solves problems and saves the world. And so I tried to make the book also not only a fun, crime thriller worldwide, which takes place in Australia, New York City, and Barbados, and India, but I also try to work in what's going on in the accounting profession and what are some of the useful tools. And I put a lot of that information in the exhibits to the book.
Yeah, I did notice that the exhibits were there. I want to go back to one thing you said, because I find this interesting when people ask, what do you do? Because every time someone asks that, I like, well, I'm an accountant, but, and exactly what you just said, I'm an accountant, but I really just go out and talk. And so that still doesn't, I have to have a line said of what it is that I do. And without a but, I'm an accountant. I do really exciting things that are just so, they're passionate about, and it lights me up and that kind of stuff. That's what I need to figure out how to say that. So
yeah, exactly. And again, that's why what drove me to write Green Shades and have an exciting journey that you can follow this Jack Reacher type character who's
nice.
Around the world as he figures out what had happened to one of his closest friends, who happened to show up dead on the northern beaches of Australia, and he had to figure out how the heck did that happen, because he's a good surfer, and I don't think he drowned like the authorities thought he just drowned. Something happened more than that.
Yep.
On an adventure. There's so many directions you can go as an accountant, so many industries you can go to, and we're in a unique situation in that we usually have our fingers in everything, and we know what's going around, particularly a CFO or a controller or even accounting manager. You know what's going on in your corporation, your company,
Right.
in all different departments. And that, was one profession that is probably one of the only professions that you have your hand in almost anything, and you can quickly go to different industries if you want to move jobs. You're not pigeonholed necessarily.
Right. Let's go a little deeper into the book without giving things away. Just as I think you did a good job already, but is there any, because then I want to go into, we got an idea of how you wrote it, why you wrote it, but just give us the synopsis. And I assume you can do this because you talked about the book and you wrote the book without giving us any spoilers.
Yeah, I'll give you a little bit of a synopsis. So the protagonist, the hero, is Derek Dex McCord.
Ooh, cool name.
And Dex McCord, he's in a big four, a big accounting firm. Can't say big four, but I use a fictional name, although I reference the big four and other large accounting firms in the book.
Okay.
Also, I'll talk about their personalities of each firm. But Dex McCord sends his close buddy, he used to live in Australia, Dex McCord, he sends his buddy from Australia to India to do a simple audit of an SEC XBRL processing company that creates documents. XBRL tags them, and if you don't know about XBRL, the book will explain it, and a lot more on the exhibits, so don't worry.
I was going to say, this isn't simple to me, but I'm not an auditor, so.
So they're barcoding financial statements in India. Tony comes back to Australia, and like I said, he's all of a sudden, he's asked to do something. He's found on the northern beaches of Australia, and the authorities conclude it's a surfing accident. Dex McCord goes to Australia to the funeral. He starts to uncover facts that, hey, this may not have been a surfing accident. And all of a sudden, he's the one being hunted by the bad guys.
Oh,
so
all right.
Now the journey takes him back to New York City. He has to go down to Barbados to see what's going on there. And it covers so many different topics in the novel, because at times I will go back and talk about, how did Dex McCord become a good accountant? What skills did he have to learn?
Right.
His mentor in the book is a CFO of Edgar, a SEC document filing company, who kind of helps him and mentors him. And every accountant needs a good mentor. But the novel is, like I said, it's a financial crime thriller, but it has all I got to put a warning in there. It has violence, has some sexual tension. Women that Dex McCord might come across in his journey.
Yeah.
But it's just a fun novel. But it also has things in there like, what's the pay scale at large accounting firms?
Okay.
And again, what are some of the key financial ratios when algorithm trades are made and nanosecond trades are made from SEC information? What happens if someone has some SEC information a little bit early?
Oh, look at you. All right. So I know one of you actually recently wrote an article for Accounting Today, and I think actually I should have put the title here, but I think one of the themes of it, or the theme of it, was soft skills for accountants, right? Or am I confusing that with something?
Yeah, absolutely right. I've written 2 articles recently for Trendlines. One is the importance and the power of soft skills for accountants, and the other is how finance leaders use storytelling. And in particular, storytelling here in Green Shades is obviously the epitome and the big example of it. But first starting with storytelling, I use the term, actually it's an AMA term to a degree that we teach this. We need to learn how to spar with our audience. And as accountants, we're constantly doing that. We don't realize it, but we're constantly doing that. And SPAR stands for, there's a situation that we identify, there's an action that has to happen, there's a result that we're looking for. Am I learning? I forgot the
There's
first
a P in there somewhere.
Situation, problem.
Problem, got it.
Action and result. And so storytelling, you need to sort of start with that and then build on it and how we solve those problems. And as accountants, we're constantly asked to solve problems, and we're constantly asked to make our clients money or save them money or usually impact their lives quite often. So that's a big part of it. So the soft skills, storytelling is just one aspect of it, but we also need good communication skills, good critical thinking skills, business acumen, 100%. And, getting back to the original reason I wrote the book, accountants in general, there's a perception, there's an image, and break through that image. And I think that image has hurt us in the profession with respect to the pipeline of the number of people taking the CPA exam. It's a bad image. So that needs to change image, and it needs to be disclose to the world how cool it is to be accountants. And
like Dex. Yeah,
exactly. Dex McCord is a cool accountant. There's a lot of them. And so we need to make accountants cool again. So maybe I should have a hat like that, right? A MACA hat.
MACA, make accountants cool again. I think we've always been cool, though. It's just the perception has not been there of the coolness. Maybe not. I'm very lucky. I get to hang out with a lot of cool accountants like you, writing mystery novels that are pretty cool. So the book, though, with Dex, a lot of things that you're highlighting with him is his soft skills, right? And how he's using that to, come up with these. And again, I haven't read the book, but solve this mystery that he's dealing with.
Exactly. So it's a lot of it is critical thinking skills and diving deeper into issues and circumstances and what is happening and trends, and then learning about things like, what is the Edgar system in the SEC, and if the Edgar system is being played with, what can happen, and SEC filings. And so Dex McCord has to constantly kind of build these skills and deep dive into how are financial traders, how are black box trading happening with financial data? How is quant analytics going on to make investment decisions impacted by SEC filings, for example?
Right.
So he has to be able to explain this to his audience, and in the novel, I need to explain it to my audience a lot of the things, but by keeping it in a fun way, not necessarily a technical way. And so it gets back to that storytelling. It gets back to everyday life that accountants have this storytelling, usually leveraging data. The data will show you the trends, and now with artificial intelligence, that's a whole nother direction of how we start having to leverage data and the trends that go with it.
Yep. And then, so with, Dex's soft skills and general soft skills, for the accounting soft skills, I think I had read that this is something that you think that we need to concentrate on more in the education part of becoming an accountant, that this is something that's ignored. We're very good at teaching the technical and that, but the soft skills, and I think I read somewhere, it was maybe in your article, where people are valuing these soft skills more than they are the technical skills. And so you think we're falling short on that, and how do we handle this?
Yeah, exactly. I think we are falling short on that. It seems like most of the training that accountants focus on, and even most of their, the bosses or the HR departments, is technical in nature. And we have the same issue here at AMA, where most of our audience is engineers, for example, and accountants. At AMA, we have over 30 courses that you can get CPE credits for your CPA that are just soft skills.
Nice.
Soft skill credits. So, one solution is to push away the technical skills. That's kind of a given. And even now with Google searches, you can find the answer, or other resources or auditors. That's a given. But what CEOs and higher senior managers and the relationships you have at work, what matters most is your soft skills, is your presentation skills, is your communication skills, like I said, your business acumen, your critical thinking. So I believe accountants need to focus on that. And Randy, also for your listeners, they can always reach out to me at AMA. I will take $500 off any of our courses for anyone that reaches out to me.
Oh, nice.
And as a matter of fact, I'll even go a step further. And the first 3 people that contact me, I will give them a free course at AMA. And you can get, your 24 CPEs if you need. And our retail value is $2,500. So it's a good offer for
Well, I'm very lucky that this episode won't be coming out for a while, because I just signed up now, so I get 24 hours of... No, I'm kidding. I am not going to do that. I will not be one of the first 3.
Exactly.
And I'll wait for the episode to come out before we let anybody know about that. But we'll put a link in the show notes, and I really appreciate that. But those soft skills, I agree completely. I don't remember who told me this, but I don't know if it was in a session somewhere or I was just talking to somebody, but I think this is how they put, you know what, no matter what you do, you're not going to be the greatest technical accountant in the world. Everybody has these skills. What's going to differentiate you is these soft skills, these leadership skills, the communication skills, these relationship building skills. And that is what's going to differentiate you in this profession, because that's what really puts your personality out there, which is what attracts people to what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then my whole career has been really kind of presenting, whether it's to the staff, whether it's to the board of directors, whether it's to the community. I mean, all your stakeholders are looking at you sort of to be the leader in the room and communicate out what's going on and what's important and what's not important. So the soft skills, I can't emphasize enough. Sometimes I like calling them power skills.
Nice.
The power skills are so important to every accountant out there, and it'll change perception, because most of the time internally at your company, oh, I have to go talk to the internal accountant, and it's almost like a burden. Well, if you can approach them in a very friendly and exciting way and get them really behind you on what you're trying to do, on the situation, on the problem, and create an action and a result, that will help you in your profession, I think, in the long run.
Yep. And so let's just talk, since you're just talking about profession, let's talk about the profession in general, because we are, I don't know if we call it crisis mode. We are in a situation where we don't have the people coming in that we used to, and we have probably more people leaving once they come in that they have in the past. And so I guess first, are there other issues that you're identifying, but not just issues then? How do we change this? Do you have the magic pill of how we, and perception, I know you already mentioned this part of it, but let's talk about, what is going on that is causing this, and then what can we do in your opinion?
Right. So, yeah, it is very alarming that basically since the turn of the century, and kind of when they changed the 120-hour rule, it's been roughly a 40% decline, over 40% people taking the exam. That is really alarming. And I look at three major factors. First, and probably foremost, and it's improving a bit, but not there yet, is work-life balance.
Yep.
Now, accountants don't mind working hard. They'll work hard, and they have deadlines, and they have to meet their deadlines, and most accountants usually will. But there does need to be a little bit better work-life balance. And I think, Randy, you might have even written about that recently and done some studies about it.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
The second in my mind is pay. And the pay scale, I think, needs to increase for accountants. It's so important. I'm a little bit more draconian in thought of particularly auditing and accounting firms, that there should be some kind of profit share and revenue share. The private equity guys are coming into our profession for a reason. There's a lot of profits there. So I think potentially be a little more creative in the pay scale for accountants. And then the third gets back to that, the image and the branding. Dex McCord, he will be an accountant that you want friends with, because the image, the perception of accountants needs to improve. It's not you and I. We know, we've been around. It's really got to start at the high school and college level. You've got to be programs. I don't want to bam out the AICPA, but they're sitting on 120 million plus of cash. If you look at that 990, probably more than that. And I think there needs to be a big campaign, a big branding and imaging campaign at the high school level. Maybe it's giving a novel out like Green Shades at the college level. I have had some professors that have bought it, reached out to me, and they're working it into their curriculum as extra credit. If you read this book and answer a few questions, we'll give you extra credit. So they reached out to me, hey, what kind of questions should we ask their students? So image is so important. It starts really at lower level, and even throughout everyone's work history, they'll encounter people that say, I should have been an accountant, because they're kind of stuck in a dead-end job. Whereas as accountants, like, I really don't like this industry. I'm going to move over to the tech industry. I want to get into AI. Well, you can go into the tech industry, even though you might have been in the manufacturing industry as an accountant. So there's a lot you can do. So we need to brand an image out, get those salaries up. And it's good to see some firms are starting to put at least some 10% increases. I know some of the big four firms are starting to do that. And then lastly, again, that work-life balance needs to be there. We can't constantly be in the office. We need to get out and go surfing, for example.
Yep. And I honestly think that's a personality issue, not issue. Yeah, I'll say issue with us. It's just the way we think of things and the way we want to help, rather than, look at, how we help ourselves as well. In fact, today, I mean, obviously, when this gets released, this will have run already, but it'll be on YouTube. Today, I'm recording a webinar with Hector Garcia, which is prioritizing mental health while preparing for tax season. Because you and I are recording right now in November, which I think that's still staying evergreen. I can tell them when we're recording. This will probably be released in January or February, but it'll be in tax season. But we want to get people ready. We're in tax planning season. Let's not only just tax plan for our clients, let's tax plan mentally for ourselves for this next tax season so that we don't come out April 16th just completely exhausted and burned out. So what are things we can do? And I know there's a lot of people doing positive things in that way, but that's that image that we now have to show that, hey, we are integrating technology to help us be more efficient. We are prioritizing work-life balance. We are finding ways to shut down at the end of the day, this kind of stuff. And so if we can show that that's happening, I really am, bullish means positive, right? I am really bullish on this profession. All right, there we go.
Exactly. And actually, I think recent statistics are starting to show that the pipeline is starting to fill. People are starting to get more excited.
Yep.
And that's a good thing, I think.
Yep, for sure. And I know that AICPA, the pipeline, the survey study that they did, Jennifer Wilson helped out with that, had a lot of good data in there. And actually, looks like we're going to try to incorporate the data that you referenced that we did recently on satisfaction levels in the profession in with that survey and see if there's any way we can, collaborate on getting even stronger data out of there. So I see positive things happening, cool things happening, like your book. It will be a lot of fun for the profession. And I'm looking forward to January when I have my downtime and I can spend it reading the book. I'm seeing so many good reviews online that I'm very excited to get this going. So before I ask a couple last questions, anything you want to summarize on what we've discussed so far?
Yeah, just the biggest takeaway, obviously, besides buying my book and give it to your friends and family, particularly future accountants. The advice I have for most people, whether they're accountant or not, is when you're at work, one, go into the office as much as you can. Be present. Be physical. Let people see you. And two, when you're in your office, don't sit at your desk. Get up, walk around, talk to people.
Yep.
That's how you're going to find out how things are going on. And then you'll be able from there elevate your career, network properly with individuals. And networking, we haven't talked about networking, but obviously that's a really important thing.
Oh, yeah.
Even tonight, I'm still networking at my age, still going to the New York Society of CPAs is opening a new office.
Oh, nice.
So they're having a reception tonight for their new office. And that's exciting. But that's things like that. I'm sure I'm going to meet a handful of accountants just like me and have a great time and make new friends. So put out there as much as you can.
Yep. For me, relationships are one of the most important things that we, I think, ignore too much because we just concentrate on work rather than relationships. But relationships is really the key to, I think, mental and financial success. So that's important. All right. 2 last questions. And the final one will be, information on where they can get a hold of you in the book and all that. But before that, I'm a big proponent of people are more than their job title. And so, you are a CPA, you're a VP, you're a CFO, you're an author, but what are your outside of work passions? What do you do for fun when you're not doing all of these work-related things?
Yeah, probably the biggest thing is softball.
Nice.
I played baseball in college. I'm in my young 60s now, and I'm still playing softball. And, it's not necessarily more about the game and who wins or loses. It's about the camaraderie.
Oh, yeah. I agree completely. Yep.
Having a beer with the guys afterwards. So that's one thing I still do. Besides read, I like reading historical fiction. Mm-hmm. And I also like fishing.
Nice.
I'm not a good surfer. I'm a good body surfer, but I'm not a good surfer.
All right.
I tried that when I was living in Australia. I tried surfing. It was a disaster. They had to come rescue me half the time.
Plus, there's all those sharks there. So,
and in the book, Dex McCord, he will encounter some sharks.
All right, nice. All right. Well, those sound like awesome hobbies. Then, lastly, if people want to, get the book, reach out to you, find out more about what you're doing, where places they can look. Yeah,
they can look. The first spot obviously is Amazon. The book's on there. Green Shades. With an S. A lot of people get the S.
Is a $sign. Yeah.
But it's not available on Amazon. But also go to my website, which is CPA-author.com. And you'll be able to see videos. There'll be some examples of the exhibits, like salaries of Big Four accountants. And on there, you'll see an email, gadams@cpa-author.com, or you can always reach out to me at the AMA at gadams@amanet.org. I would love your feedback. Like you said, so far, the reviews have been great. It's been the book also, one surprise has been a lot of companies have bought it in bulk to give for prospecting. Some small accounting firms that sent it to their customers and prospects, insurance companies, accounting software companies. So it's getting out there, and I think the reader will enjoy the journey of Dex McCord and realize that accountants are cool.
Nice. I agree. Accountants are cool. Well, I'm excited, like I said, to read it. I'm also excited. You're motivating me. I've been working on the book for 2+ years now, but it's going to be released in 2025. So now I have to do it because I said it on here. It will be released, but it's nothing like your story. It's more about the firm culture and the importance of it and putting people first. So, all right. Well, Greg, thank you so much for being here today. I'm glad we were able to do this. And again, looking forward to seeing the impact that your book's going to be making on this profession.
Thank you, Randy. I really appreciate it. And hopefully after the book, you'll see us on Netflix and you'll be an accounting hero instead of a cop or a doctor or a nurse. So.
Nice. I want a cameo appearance on that show. All right. Great. All right. Well, thanks. Thanks, everybody, for listening today.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on the Unique CPA. You can find the show notes for today's episode and learn more about TriMerit at theuniquecpa.com. Remember to subscribe and leave a 5-star rating on your favorite podcasting app. And join us next time for more expertise and insights on the Unique CPA. Professionalproductions.net